Next up, the woke left is the aggressor, and the woke right reacts. The woke left and the woke right are similar in many different ways. In fact, they're similar in most ways, except for one. The woke left aggresses on the woke right, and the woke right reacts. How the dynamic works is that the left does something crazy, and we'll talk about that in a second, and then the right reacts to the crazy thing that the left did. In doing so, the right will usually make themselves look like the aggressors because like anytime the left does something crazy, they do it in a way where they're like, we're just trying to be loving and accepting and having diversity and including everyone. We're just trying to make people feel good and live in joy. They're doing it in a way where they're like, just like we're just trying to love people and make people feel good about themselves. And so the left does something crazy, but they do it under the guise of like, we just want everyone to be happy, guys. And then the right comes in and they have a massive overreaction to what the left is doing. Can anyone think of an example of that happening like right now? Where the left does something crazy and but they frame it in the guise of we're just trying to have love and acceptance and peace and be inclusive of everyone, and then the right sees that and they're like, no, fuck you. Yes, Gloria. Target would be an excellent example of that. Target is an excellent example of that. Matt Walsh is now on a crusade to cancel Target over bathing suits that no one has to buy. Literally no one has to buy them. And some of the things, and I'm not opposed to boycotts, like fine, whatever. If you don't want to shop at Target because you don't support those values, then don't shop at Target. I mean, maybe it'll change something. I tend to think it won't, but maybe it will. I could be wrong. But that's not the point, because when the right backlashes, it's not as though the right is quiet about it. They don't just stop shopping at Target. They put on these big fucking productions. They say we have to eradicate trans ideology from the world, and we cannot let the gays near our children because they're all pedophiles. And they make this big show of it that is way disproportional for what the left does. Now, think about the average person who, I know some conservatives might not like to hear this. The average person doesn't hate gay people. The average person doesn't care if people are trans. The average person doesn't care about any of this stuff. The average person is selfish and just wants to go about their lives, okay? So they're seeing the left is like introducing this like bathing suit line or whatever the hell's going on at Target. And the left is like, it's just a bathing suit line. It's just for Pride Month. Like, what's the big deal? The average person doesn't care. The right has a massive overreaction to the bathing suit line. They don't just stop shopping at Target. If it was just like a nice like kind of like calm protest where we're like, okay, well, you guys are doing this crazy stuff. We don't like it, so we're going to go to Walmart from now on. That would be one thing, but that's not what they do. They have this whole blown up affair where they're denouncing trans people, denouncing the gays, talking about how everyone's a pedophile, everyone's a groomer, like anyone who disagrees with them is awful, anyone who disagrees with them is also a pedophile and a groomer, and it looks crazy. And the left counts on this. The left knows that the right is going to make themselves look insane by comparison, because you have this one side that's like, it's a bathing suit line, like it's for Pride Month. Why don't you want, like, who really cares? You've got the one side that's just being like kind of normal about the situation. You've got the other side that is like, rah! Like, to the average person who doesn't understand what's going on, the right looks significantly more crazy than the left. Whether you agree with what the right is doing or not, That's not actually what's being talked about. It is the meltdown. It is the screaming. It is the crying. Like, do you guys know how crazy you think the left looks? Every time when Trump got elected and everyone was like screaming and crying when Trump got elected, and there were all these videos of like leftists like, no, and like all that stuff. The left looked crazy when they did that, right? Guess what, conservatives? You're doing that now. And I don't think you have the self awareness to know that you're doing that right now. I think that you're really so teed up over all of this stuff and you've been so inflamed by your influencers and maybe you're just trying to you're saying, well, it worked for the left, why don't we do it too? It worked for the left because they control everything. You don't control everything. They baited you. They knew what was going to happen. They knew that you had been really teed up about this and that you were going to have an overreaction to it and that you were the ones that were going to look crazy. That's the dynamic at play here. And every time, and I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to have a comment full of like a thing full of comments saying, "Carlin, what about the children? Don't you love the children? What are you a pedophile, Carlin? Because you don't. Why don't you want us to boycott Target, Carlin? Are you a pedophile? Like I mean, it's going to be crazy because that's what it's been for months. The left counts on that. They do something crazy. You overreact. The left was actually the aggressor in the situation, but because of your disproportionate overreaction, you look like the aggressor. And that's what the left wants. They want you to look like the aggressor because when you look like the aggressor, then the left gets to be the victim. And this cycle happens over and over and over. Well, Pineapple Girl, here is the reality of the situation. They are going to use the conservative overreaction to take away your parental rights. So you're not even helping your case there. Yes, this is correct. This is what narcissists do. They make you look like the aggressive one. They make you look like the crazy one. You have to be aware of this because, as we talked about yesterday, and we're going to talk about again today, the only way to win this war is not to play the game that the left is wanting you to play. You know what the very best thing conservatives could do for Pride Month is? Not talk about it. Not talk about it at all. In fact, I actually had someone on my Twitter. Let me pull this up because it was so insightful. Julie on my Twitter. Hang on. Where is it? Julie. There it is. Julie, member of the Unwoke Army. She posted this on Twitter earlier. Red alert to Christians. Please do not protest Pride events next month. It's a trap. Stay tuned for strategies to combat queer Marxism that will actually help. Julie is correct about this. Now, it might seem as though, and I know what I'm going to hear, it's like, so you don't want us to do anything? You just want the left to run roughshod? No. But the thing of it is you guys, in your overreaction, are the ones that are causing the problem. It is the overreaction that gets them the attention. It is the overreaction that gets them the media coverage. It's exactly the same thing that happened with Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney would not be half as famous as Dylan Mulvaney is if it wasn't for the overreaction of the conservative right. The conservative right featured Dylan Mulvaney over all of their media. All of their influencers were talking about Dylan Mulvaney. People who had never heard of Dylan Mulvaney before were all of a sudden watching Dylan Mulvaney all the time. And guess what happens when people watch Dylan Mulvaney? Dylan Mulvaney's numbers go up and up and up and up and up. And then Dylan Mulvaney gets sponsorship deals. The conservative right puts so much money in Dylan Mulvaney's bank account. It is ridiculous. And it's going to be exactly the same thing with Pride Month. I understand that should there be a whole month dedicated to who people are sleeping with? Probably not. Probably not. But this is not what this is about. This is about trying to get you to react. The very best thing that you can do during Pride Month is don't talk about it. Don't feed it energy. Don't give it publicity. Don't dedicate show after show after show after show after show to it. It's not going to stop it. It's going to happen regardless. Just let them do the crazy shit that they're going to do and don't give it air. Exactly, Landshark. The first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club. All publicity is good publicity, guys. Sad but true. Sad but true. All publicity is good publicity. And they want conservatives talking about it. They want conservatives complaining about it. They want you screaming and reeing and dedicating show after show after show to it. They want you hate watching it because every single time that conservatives talk about Pride Month, they are going to turn that around and say, see, they're the homophobes. They're the evil gay haters that we told you that they were. Why can't we just have Pride Month? It's just about being proud. Why can't we? Like, they're going to turn around and use it against you. And I'm going to bet all the money in my bank account Matt Walsh is going to be saying some crazy, crazy, crazy shit because we can always rely on him to do that. But that's the dynamic at play, guys. The left is the aggressor. The right reacts. The right usually has a disproportional overreaction because they're really teed up now by their influencers. And the left uses that disproportional reaction to make the right look like the aggressor and the left look like the victim. And the average person, the normies who don't pay attention to this, your friends, your family, your neighbors who are just like, I just want to come home. I just want to go to Target and get my dinner and pick up a couple things and come home and watch the game. That's like literally all I want to do. Like, I don't care about any of this stuff. Like, the average normal person is going to side with the left because they are the ones who look less crazy and less outlandish.